All right, guys, Copper Cutlass here. I told you we were going to have a 347 stroker build going on here. I'm putting this together for a friend of mine. I actually was looking through some of the receipts with some of the parts, and he's had everything for this engine since 2012, and for one reason or another, it just sat off to the side. You know, my buddy's kind of a madman, and he's always got some cool project going on, and he's always got some irons in the fire, and this is one of the remains of an old Ranger project he was working on. And I actually can remember how this whole engine started. I think him and I went to a swap meet. It was cold as shit, and it was weekend right after New Year's. We went out to a swap meet out in Peatone. And he picked up a bunch of goodies. I believe he picked up some small chambered iron heads and this oil pan. And there was a couple other parts that he picked up. I believe he picked up a block as well. And that's kind of where it all started. And it morphed into, he's got some really, really killer parts here. He's got the studs, you know, ARP main studs. He's got a bottom end girdle. Just kind of a halo girdle, not tied into the side of the block. It's got a scat crank in it. Scat rods, obviously. He got the whole kit from Scat. It's got probe pistons. Real nice. Everything needs a little bit of a cleanup, not major. This stuff has been sitting for a long time, and it's been fairly well taken care of in storage. And the heads, they've all been checked out. They're Pro Comp aluminum heads. It's got a big single plane Parker intake. I believe also a Pro Comp part. It's got a nice multiple adjustable keyway timing chain from Cloy's. All the gaskets are here. The timing cover. Got some engine bearings here. We got a balancer, electric water pump, stainless bolts, everything ready to go. Oil pump in that little box, head studs, flywheel. He's got some BBK headers just to put on there. And yeah, so I'm going to be assembling this. The only thing I have to do is I have to flip a couple of the rods. When he installed them, there's an offset to the rods. Let me see. There's a bearing in this one. Let me carefully work it out of here. So you see this bearing here sits closer to the edge. This one's got a chamfer. The chamfers have to face the outside of the crank. So when it's in the journals, let's say you draw an imaginary line down this intake, right? And that's your crankshaft and where your bob weights go and everything. Actually, I have a crankshaft here. So I don't know why the fuck I was doing that. So either way, the chamfer has to face the outside edges because it needs that radius. The rods, if they're not in there right, they'll actually bind up, and you'll pretty much seize the engine before you can even fire it up. And I made that mistake years ago on my first real high performance effort. I built a little 350 that went in 13 threes. And I numbered my pistons wrong. So if you start disassembling the engine and you just start going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like front to back, it will work to a certain point, because if you take it to the machine shop, unless you put the engine back together exactly the same way you numbered it, then when you take it to the machine shop, they think that the numbers are per cylinder. So the machine shop, thinking that I had numbered it by cylinder, installed the rods wrong on the pistons that I had gotten. And when I was assembling it, the engine, by the time I got to the last rod, you can barely move the engine by hand. So I knew something was wrong. I called the machine shop, and everybody was kind of pissed off. You know, everybody's like pointing fingers, but it was a genuine mistake on my part very early on. I didn't know. And it got corrected, and that engine went on to live quite a life. So kind of same thing here. We're going to flip a couple rods around, make sure. I'm going to look at the numbers and where they sit and where they need to sit. and flip them around. They're spiral locks. I've never worked with spiral locks, but I know that they suck. So I'm going to start probably little by little nibbling at it and blueprinting stuff out, measuring stuff out, getting everything ready, degree the cam in. And this thing should be a mean little fucker, man. It's got a nice solid roller cam. Specs are somewhere over here. This thing's going to be nasty. Should be a really nice runner, and it will be for sale. 581 on a 112. And duration doesn't tell me at 50. I'm going to guess this is in like the 250s, 260. I was a little off. 235, 241 on duration at 50,000 lift. This thing should sound pretty good. So, either way, just, I know I've mentioned it a lot, and it's going to happen. Before I can yank the engine out of this and do any little upgrades on this for next year's daily driving purpose, this has to get done. I've been meaning to get this done. I want to get this done. We're going to put it on the engine stand, fire it up, and this thing will be for sale. So, as far as I know, he was planning on selling it. So, on that note, I'll let you guys go. JJ did make a video. He cut the filter apart. It did not look good. But at the same time, we still had good oil pressure. So, we're thinking that whatever bearing material was in the filter is not good, but not horrible at this point. So eventually that engine's got to come back apart, and I think I'm going to salvage a bunch of shit from it at this point. And yeah, so it's going to need to come apart, and if that engine has to come apart, then for me it really is not worth it to pursue anything further with that engine than salvaging some of the parts from it for my future small block build, which is kind of still teetering, I could call it that. So I got some stuff that I'm working out, and I got to work out a couple of details, but it looks like we scored a short block that will really work for us. So I'll let you guys go, and I'll put JJ's videos at the end of this clip. So share, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass. You can follow me on Facebook at Copper's Garage. That is the page for this, not my personal page. And hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, ring the bell, do the thing, you know, throw some tassels in the air. So I'll let you guys go.
All right, boys and girls, we're cutting open the filter on ENRON. I don't have a filter tool, but suggested by a couple of people on my Facebook page. Use a good sharp gasket scraper, which I've started, and just work your way around. I mean, it's literally just a tin can. And yes, I'm wearing bitch mittens because I don't want to be full of oil when I'm done. So, anyways, just quick, I'm going to keep working at this. I'm sure you guys don't want to see me on video chase this all the way around the filter. So, I will get back to you in just a minute. Alright, now I can't figure out how to flip it back off a selfie, but this here is where I cut the filter apart, and that's just the oil that came out of it. That's how much copper was there. I've already started to, not very far, but started to, alternators off, took the lower radiator hose off and drained it out tonight. Actually, I'd taken the coil wire off earlier, but put it back on to move the car, but it will not be running ever again, so not in this configuration. So, anyways, Project Enron, you know, we said we were done, and we pretty much put a, I don't know, a dart, thumbnail, put something in it. It's done. It's going to have to come apart and be checked, rebearinged, probably done a little more than just a crank polish, have it checked out. I don't know. Don't know what the future brings. So, anyways, hit Copper up on his socials. I'm not going to hit them all. Just, you know where to find them if you watch all the videos. And, well, it's been a fun project. I will take some videos of actually taking the car apart. And we'll go from there. Talk to you guys later.